1973, right in the midst of Slade's chart supremacy, they suffered a major setback. Don Powell, the drummer, was involved in a car accident that killed his girlfriend Angie, left Don with no sense of taste, no sense of smell, and virtually no memory whatsoever. I asked Don how that affected the four of them at that time.
You better ask him.
You better ask. Well, I was still living with Dad at the time, you see, and obviously I knew Don's girlfriend quite well. And she was a big friend of my sister, you see. And I think it was 4 o'clock in the morning when I had the phone call, and like it was, Don's had a crash. And I thought it was a bit of a joke, you see. I thought he wanged his car up the wall and had a drink or two or something, you know. So I ignored it for a moment, and then, of course, the call was that somebody had been killed. Oh, crikey, you know. Then, of course, I'd visualised all sorts of horror stories in my mind about Don, you know, because he wasn't expected to live. But then when he did live, which was great,
Thanks, Dave.
we had to, well, I really like it. You know, when he got through it, you know. And Chaz helped him a lot as well, encouraged him tremendously to get back on your feet, lad, and move forward. None of this sort of sitting back in an armchair.
Yeah,
so
that was a great thing, actually, because I was sort of completely out of it, like mentally, if you like, and Chaz sort of, as good as like, taught me into doing a tour. Was it Europe or the States, wasn't it?
Stacks of things.
Yeah, and doing it, and I really wasn't in the mood to do it. And he said, well, you've got to do it, you know, to just get yourself out of it, sort of thing, out of, like, depression, if you like. And, of course, it's the best thing that happened to me. Okay, I was still on walking sticks at the time. They like, carried me on stage and carried me off and all that kind of thing. You know, often we finish the set, they'd leave me sitting on stage, I'm sitting there, someone come and help me, you know, I'm sitting there, they'd leave it, and they'd, like, pinch me walking sticks, you know, all that kind of thing.
Someone come and help me?
Yeah.
Or when we started the show, I forgot.
And then trying to remember numbers was the hardest thing, but it was great exercise for me. So I've forgotten all the songs, I just didn't know, you know, what we were doing. I mean, the one show we did, we were going on for an encore, and I said, what are we going to do? What are we doing? He said, we do, Jim, shall we do Merry Christmas? How's it go? How's it go? Here, as a quick hum it to me, you know, I'd forgotten everything. Yeah, and he had to like hum it to me. He said, oh, just play, and I'll just...
Yeah, go for it, the audience are going wild, okay.
You made a movie in '74, Slade in Flame. Semi-autobiographical?
I think you can always draw connections, can't you, between movies and yourself.
I've seen the yellow lights go down the Mississippi. I've seen the bridges of the world and they're for real. I've had a red light on the wrist without me even getting kissed. It still seems so unreal. I've seen the morning in the mountains of Alaska. I've seen the sunset in the east and in the west. I've sang the glory that was Rome and passed the hound dog singers home. It still seems for the best. And I'm far, far away, with my head up in the clouds. And I'm far, far away, with my feet down in the crowds. Letting loose around the world, but the call of home is loud, still as loud. I've seen the Paris lights from high upon Montmartre, and felt the silence hanging low in no man's land. And all those Spanish nights were fine, it wasn't only from the wine, it still seems all in hand. And I'm far, far away, with my head up in the clouds. And I'm far, far away, with my feet down in the crowds. Letting loose around the world, but the call of home is loud, still as loud. I've seen the yellow lights go down the Mississippi, the Grand Bahama Island stories carry on, and all those alligator smiles stay in your memory for a while. There still seems more to come, and I'm far, far away, with my head up in the clouds. And I'm far, far away, with my feet down in the crowds.
thing with Flame is like sort of the actual story. There was two groups. I mean, there's like the Iron Rod, I think it was, and then I was in what was it called? The
Undertakers.
The Undertakers, yeah.
Oh,
and
right.
like the two groups sort of split and formed together, and they auditioned for a drummer. I suppose in a certain sort of parallel with the Slade thing is where there's two bands that have split and formed together and auditioned for another member. I mean, in our actual Slade story, it was Jim, but in the film, I auditioned as a drummer, that kind of thing.
How do you rate the four of you as actors?
Well, I think we're okay actually. I think for the first time. I mean, I think we're all acting in life anyway. I
Dave's doing the follow-up to E.T.
I'd love to make another movie. In fact, we were offered a funny movie, weren't we, a couple of years ago, a spoof of the Ronnie Corbetts and all that. We never come off.
But the thing was, I mean, when we made Flame, it took a long time out of our careers as a Slade, if you like, actually recording. We fell behind with recording as a band and even touring, so we were a bit sort of wary, really, about sort of doing another one.
One thing I will say about movies, just to interrupt Don, is that there is a downside to movies, which starts to show groups in other ways, which the public don't like to see. And I think, I always noted that our decline started after that movie.
Slade's decline was rapid. The singles Far, Far Away and How Does It Feel failed to match the chart success of their predecessors, so Slade diverted their attentions to the United States of America. They lived and toured there for 2 years, but on their return to Britain in '77, they found a very, very different United Kingdom with perhaps no room for Slade in it.
Well, what it was, I mean, see, okay, we came back from the States, and because the whole scene over here had changed, as far as we're concerned, anyway. I mean, the punk thing had taken over, if you like, and we were out of favour. We couldn't do like a concert tour because we didn't have any success to be able to sell out those kind of places. So we went back to playing small clubs. Well, that's where we started anyway, and we got a great buzz out of it. You know, because remember, because we've forgotten all that scene, because when we got like success and we started doing concerts, great, then that's the only thing that you know. But then we thought, we were like thinking about playing small clubs, and we were a bit sort of wary. We didn't really know what to expect. But when we went back, we had a great time, because that's how we started anyway. And then we did that for a couple of years, playing the small places. And then we got the offer to do the Reading Festival in, was it 1980, 81?
Yeah, 1980 actually was the real turning point. And we'd had 3 or 4 years at these clubs. And I mean, talk about losing egos, that's the one place you start to lose them, when you start hitting the dumps, you know. We used to call them the chicken in the basket places, you know, where people used to come in, have chicken in the basket, you know, and you'd probably get a fat businessman out with his secretary, you know, then you'd get a few trendies coming in, dancing on the old disco floor, you know, going, who's this lot? Oh, it's that bunch from the 70s, in it, you know. And they'd probably come in to laugh at you, actually, thinking that you'd be a parody, you know, a bit of a joke.
Would you describe yourself as rebels then? I mean, you seem to alienate yourself from that situation. You were playing it on your terms.
We played it on our terms, all right, because we went in and did it with our gear, our lights. We paid for everything, right? We never really made any money on it, but what we did, we put new songs in the act, and we'd had a feeling then that if people liked the stuff, right, we'd still got a shot at, I don't know, oh, you're not selling records, you're selling something on stage. So we lived on the merit of the performance, what we actually came from. And what was the strongest point of Slade was keeping us together as a four-man group was because we had something to say on stage. Maybe we were saying nothing on record because, in fact, our record company had dropped us then, and we were on a small record label called Barn, which Chas Chandler ran, you see. But really, no big label wanted us because they said they paid the dues, that, you know, nobody comes back, nobody's going to make it, you know. They've had too many hits anyway, so they saw us as the end of the line as far as the hits were concerned. Obviously, we were yet to prove them wrong, but at this time, all we got to deal with was, like, trying to get the odd record out on Barn, playing in front of the audience, sweating, great feeling, you know what I mean? Coming off stage and the old chicken in the basket place. In fact, we used to have chicken and chips in the dressing room, didn't we, you know? And then we'd go home, you know, freezing cold at night, you see, you know, and in the transport cafe again, you see. All that little syndrome was going on for 3 to 4 years. Very interesting now, because the press wouldn't come and see us, but the fans, which I've got to say, quite honestly, the 400 or 500 fans which we had left, basically, used to go all over the country watching us, and